Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. TSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping!
Buzz Force Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? What up? Let's go. It's last call. You guys found it. You're at the right spot here if you're looking to get through tonight's card, find them angles, find them trends, discuss cash flow, and all the things you're going to need to know to go out there and cash big tickets tonight. I'm excited to join the crew here. I know the chat's going to be rocking with us tonight, and we've got to shout out our guy LJ going to that Houston Rockets game. So we're bringing him back. Billy Briz is going to come back and rock the hardwood with us tonight. I don't have his place, so it's going to be fun to see exactly what he's looking to get into college basketball-wise, the NBA. We've got a lengthy card in the NBA, and sad to say, but it is the last day before the All-Star break in the NHL. 3 games. We've got 3 looks in that thing as well. 3 plays that I'm on. I already locked them in and loaded, and I think it's ridiculous we shouldn't have to say that. Of course there are plays out there. So let's get that cash tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we got to get back in the winning ways here. You know, we had a 4-6 day yesterday, and coming off of kind of some back-to-back spots there that were not in our favor. So kind of got to get off the schneid here. We're at hump day. It's January 31st, and the last day of the first month of the year. Cannot believe it. Where does time go? It flies when you're having fun. They say it. It's true. This is a lot of fun. These sports are a lot of fun. And, you blink an eye and it's gone. You got to take advantage of every day you can and live them to the fullest. And that's what we're doing here with Last Call tonight. Got ourselves a fun slate, though. 3 NHL games. We've got college hoops. Quite a few plays broken down with our guy, Jimmy the Bag. I circled back. I got a 3-pack. I just added a late closer there for 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to have a ton of fun with college basketball here as we're down to the final games in conference play before the tournament. We're just about a month out of March Madness. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well here, right around the corner. And then we're going to get to the Masters. We're going to have some golf to kick the spring off and playoff time in the NBA and the NHL. So things happen fast, and we got to capitalize and take advantage while we can. We want to keep a brisk pace tonight. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to cover. We had a gauntlet of a show yesterday, but I think it paid off. You know, our guy, Billy Briz, shout out. I know he's going to be back here this afternoon here in just a little bit. Gave us out that ladder play that cashed all the way up to a plus 600. So you tell our guy, Billy, you made that cash last night. You're at the right spot to get those kinds of plays. Props, sides, totals, everything we need to get rocking out there, guys. If you're just getting in 6 o'clock here, out of work, on your way home, figuring out what you're going to do for dinner and cocktails tonight, figuring out what you're going to play on the card tonight when you get in here. First thing you need to do for us, hit that thumbs up. We only ask you to do 3 things. It's a pretty simple ask. Hit the thumbs up if you like what you're seeing out there from us. Let us know that you support the show. Help us get into this algorithm that is YouTube in the 6 o'clock gambling window. Lots of guys try to do this thing out here, sharing trends, talking about cash flow, but nobody puts it better than this show here, Last Call, because of all you guys in the chat. You guys are sharper and sharper by the day. I say it all the time. That's why the second thing you want to do is get a pen and paper out there. The chat's firing gas. You want to make sure you write that gas down and get an opportunity to cash throughout the evening with the plays our crew is sharing out there in the chat. And of course, last but not least, throw those plays out there in the chat. Let's get them on the screen. Let's talk about what you guys have as far as your best plays tonight. We're going to go through my card. We're going to go through Billy's card, and we want to see what you guys have on the card as well. Appreciate everybody doing that stuff for us on the regular out there. And again, TJ Parks, the new member in the pub sports community. Joseph Thompson, first guy in the chat, says easy 2-0 best bets. Got back on track last night. Tonight he's going to Northern Iowa and Bradley over 137. First guy to give a chat or a play in the chat tonight, Joseph Thompson, blessing us with a nice look there for some points in that Bradley Northern Iowa game. The Futon Betts is in the house. He says Sack Kings money line over 10.5 points. Josh Green, Mavs spot out there. Interesting play from our guy, Futon Betts. Appreciate him dropping in. Ken Wood in the house. My guy, Caddy Daddy says, time to get the baby powder out. He's going to give a little smack there with this Radford over 135 spot. Appreciate Caddy Daddy sharing it out there. Ian Shaver's back. He's ready to get in the grind. He was off the grid and doing his thing, enjoying, I'm sure, some much-needed R&R. Hopefully you got the big catch, my guy. Hopefully you're ready to go out there and get some big cash tonight as well. Flea Mathis giving us a play out there. Good to see Flea in the chat. Likes the Suns first half plus a half out there for Flea Mathis. Res Mob, what up, Res Mob? He says, pimping ain't easy, baby. Shout out to Jay Peasy giving us that sweet-ass track there to drop on the intro of the show here. Gets us all fired up. It puts me in a great mood every time I hear it. So appreciate our guy, Jay Peasy, as well. Subhuman Gaucho says, good evening to the pimp and the pubbers. What up, Subhuman Gaucho? Great to see you, my guy. Kent Davies says, what up? I got destroyed last night. My locks did terrible. Yeah, that happens. It's going to happen. We're going to grind through it. Every day's a grind. That's why it's so important, this bankroll management we talk about. You got to be consistent. Plays you think are great sometimes don't work out the way you thought they would, and you want to still have, ammunition to fire the next day. Jay Smooth out in the house there says the smooth balls. You got to keep them clean. You got to keep them smooth. He's giving us the smooth balls play of the day. He likes that Xavier St. John's game to go under 157. Shout out to you, Jay Smooth. Kent Davies is on Chattanooga and North Florida money line. That's it. Please, God, he says. Those are two of my plays as well. So excited to see how those things will progress. I just think that's way too many points for a Chattanooga team that's kind of running pretty hot right now. And, appreciate us getting out there. Kent Davies sharing those looks with us. Subhuman says, had a great day on the pitch. Ivan Toney had been printing money, hit his 2+ shots on target at plus 300, 3+ shots on target at plus 1,000, and a live goal scorer at plus 300 from Subhuman Gaucho. Good job, my guy. I cashed a little two-leg parlay myself. It was a little square, but I went with Liverpool and Madrid, Atletico Madrid out there from the Spanish La Liga, and that was a nice little plus. I want to say it was like plus 186, something like that. So nice little afternoon action out there. Futon Betts likes the Nets plus 3. Mel says Red Wings. Mel, what up, Mel? Mel, I'm happy to be aligned with you on that spot tonight. That was probably the last one that was going to make the cutting room floor. But then at the end of it, I started just looking at some of the numbers, and I said, this is a Red Wing spot in my book. So I'm with you there, Mel. We'll get into the NHL shortly. Thank you for sharing, Mel. Res Mob, hit the like, he says out there. And there's our guy, Big Scott 510. Sharks money line, Wings sends over 6.5. Pels first half. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but Detroit plus 12.5. The Pistons are in play for our guy, Big Scott 510 tonight. Yo-Yo Mendez, what up, my guy? Says, what up, pimp? Sharks. Yeah, baby. That was a nice little plus 200 spot that we cashed last night. We needed it. We needed that plus 200 and got a pretty good read on those Sharks here. We started, they were terrible. We jumped on them, kind of caught that big wave out there and have been riding it ever since. So now 4-1 in their last 5 games, putting plus money cash in our pockets. And the question is, what do we do with them tonight? So I can't wait to talk to you guys about that. Joseph Alvarado, Ottawa or Detroit. We're going to talk about that here momentarily as we lace the skates up here, guys. Want to give those last shout outs to everybody else that's just dropping in here. Philly Eagle Flyer hit his soccer parlay today, our guy. One of the best names in the business, Philly Eagle Flyer, my guy. Good. Congrats to you. Love to hear you guys cashing, man. That's so much fun. A lot of energy, brings a lot of excitement. Can't wait to get the next play type of action and excitement out there when I hear you guys cashing like that. So Subhuman says, nice money line parlay there. Yeah, Liverpool smoked them. I was actually a little square. I was going to just take Liverpool -1, and I was like, let me see what I can do. I'm sorry, money line, but it was like -165 or -167 or something like that. And I thought, let me add these other guys. Man, cancel goal after cancel goal, but Madrid got it done with about 3 minutes to go in regulation time. So I was happy to get that cash. We'll play some soccer plays. Why not get that afternoon action out there? Ian Shaver says, I got that VVD header game before last plus 770. Love the Reds. You'll never walk alone. My guy, Ian Shaver out there. Good for you, dude. Good on you, my guy. Let's go. Let's talk about this thing. Philly Eagle Flyer says, funny, I didn't have Liverpool as a leg. The home team laying that kind of lumber in soccer is kind of an eye-opening opportunity to take advantage. I know it was Chelsea, but I still felt like Chelsea's not the team that they've been the last couple of years. and maybe in a little bit of a rebuild out there. So we took advantage and cashed on it. But we're not here to talk about soccer. I appreciate all you guys sharing the excitement, though. Gets me fired up to hear when you guys are winning, as I said prior to. Let's talk about yesterday, though. Let's get this one in the books there. I said it off the hop. It's a 4 and 6 day. Just kind of going through the grind here that is this little pre-All-Star break conundrum. You know, Periaco and the Blues, right? Periaco gets the shots on goal, man. He's been, I said it before, with Justin Falk out of the lineup for the Blues as a point man, he has been kind of the cog that moves around the wheel, or spoke that keeps the wheel going around. But the Blues blew it. What a blowout there to kind of drop that game and not get the win for us out there. Disappointing because, gosh, it was that Periaco spot that I was like, we're going to get this thing once he got there, and they blew it. But San Jose Sharks did not blow it. We gave that out on the show at plus 195. Speaking of blowing it, Ohio State just might be that bad. I know a bunch of you guys were talking about that in the chat, and I just thought, hey, we had the opportunity to capitalize, and they did not capitalize. They got beat down, and then they kind of brought it back, which was just enough for me to jump on a live bet that was like plus 6, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get this. No, they just stink right now. Maybe they always stunk. I don't know. Maybe I'm still thinking about that college playoff, that championship, or not championship, but the NCAA run they had a couple years back. TCU, though, -4. Cash it. We got that one. Nice big winner there for us. Miami blew it, +4 as well. Seems like the laying 4, okay. The getting 4, maybe not. It was kind of my notice yesterday. But we closed out strong with Colorado State on the money line. I added that live stream first half as well. So that was a nice way to kind of close out the college basketball card. Siakam over 6.5 rebounds. Did not get there. He had 6, scumbag. But Boston first half -3.5 did get there. So that was a casher. And, you know, I talked about it. I don't know why I didn't play it. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Scotty Barnes under 7.5 rebounds. I think he had 4 yesterday. I mean, that thing was as comfortable as it gets. Never in contention. And I talked myself off Toronto, which is, I don't know why I do that. I don't know how I did. I got to stop doing that is what it comes down to. I did talk myself onto Utah. We had the line movement in the right direction, but Utah on the road is that bad. So that's certainly something that we've got to take note of. And then we lost our 3-leg parlay. You know, that was the shot. We took a couple big shots to go for it. So we ended up down a unit on the day. I hate to be in that position, but look, Atlanta, Chicago, Golden State. Who thought Chicago was going to be the leg that lost that one? Not me. I thought potentially Golden State was in a tough spot there, but our guy Billy Briz nailed it, you know, with the, you know, Embiid did get back in there. However, he got, you know, certainly they did not look good. They got thumped out there, and going to look for that rematch as they get moving. So it is what it is. Yeah. Voodoo Ranger says Barnes rebounds got me paid large. Thank you, man. Good on you. Always say we got to listen. And you know, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to push the button. And Voodoo Ranger did push that button, man. He is literally the gift that keeps on giving. DC Capper says, Mikey, need your opinion. Who do you like between Richmond and Fordham? I went with the Spiders money line. That was the Spiders money line play that I gave out earlier today on Jimmy's show. We got a fresh clip of college basketball plays. I've got a 3-pack for you guys here to start for the 7 o'clock window. So we will get into it. Kent Davies says, if you guys ever watch a Chattanooga game, their point guard is great. I'm counting on him being the difference maker for us tonight there, Kent Davies. Kelly V in the house says that Blue Numbers, not a San Diego State or Boise State fan. Blue Numbers, and when the line moves in my direction, I'm out. Yeah, that's it's interesting how this has kind of evolved in the last year or so. Used to love the line movement and kind of paying attention to it. Huge in soccer. Definitely, I know we talked soccer at the start of the show here, but the line movement in soccer is like is killer. If it's not on your side, you're done. And I'll never forget the time I had another guy that I was talking with in a Discord way back, and he was like, why do you keep talking about line movement? And I was like, because every time it moves against you, you're screwed. And sure enough, he just got so pissed and angry about it because it was losing. And I said, dude, I've never looked at line movement. I said, well, you better start. And I don't know where he is. I'm not sure where he might have just gone and fucked right off. And that's fine with me because he had a bad attitude anyways. Mel says, likes the Wings money line, Wings in regulation, Wings team total over 3.5. Take your pick. I like them all, Mel. I also like the Senators under 3.5 out there for a team total spot, but we'll talk about that. Big thanks to Billy Briz for the Reeves ladder. Austin Reeves ladder was a lot of fun. We were on a live stream sweating it out together, and I know one of the guys even tried to get up to 30. So he didn't quite, I don't think he got to 30, but he did get that plus 600 spot as well. So that was a lot of fun to watch and tail. Res Mob says, you of Miami killed my 6-teamer. but Dayton, every kind of way, quadruple up out there for our guy Resmob, fucking Miami. Weird spot because the numbers moved against us as well. So anyhow, Philly Eagle Flyer says best bet, quack, money line, puck line, team total over, first period -0.5 out there. Slamming on this spot there with the Anaheim Ducks. He says the Ducks are going to roll. And Kelly V says UConn first half and full game. Purdue first half and over Memphis 154. East Tennessee. Kelly V sharing her loaded plays for us here tonight as well. Appreciate that, Kelly. Resmob says Fordham usually strong at home, but not as very good this year. Richmond's kicking ass. They're on a huge run. They're, 10-game win streak out there. First place, undefeated in the A10. 3 games left, their opportunity to lock it down and capitalize. This is a short number that I wanted every part of, and I thought, they come out there and they get the job done and capitalize. So, just a red-hot team right now, and A10's up for grabs for anybody, and that's why it's important that they close out strong because there's so much movement opportunity out there now. Any team in the middle of the pack could come away and run with that A10, and I think it's their opportunity to get it done. So, Futon Bets likes Ant Edwards over 2.5 threes. Dallas giving up threes. And there's my guy, Ixnizzle. What up, Ixnizzle, my home? We got to hang out with him last night. Had a lot of fun. Says, what's good, Mike, my guy? Pimp slapping and capping, baby. Much love, homie. Keep killing it. Thanks, my guy, Ick. It's always great to see you. Had a lot of fun hanging out last night. And you were firing last night. It was fun. Mel says Purdue first half team total over 36.5 as well on that Purdue game. We got some games popping off here at 6:30 and 7 o'clock. So we got to get to work here. We've got a big card to jump into. Starting off with the skates. We're going to lace them up. It's time to get on the ice, get your hockey sticks, get the pucks, and let's go find a way to smack these bookies. Guys, if you're just dropping in, hit that thumbs up for me. Show the support. Help us grow this thing. Every one of your thumbs up means a ton, and it continues to help us grow the channel, grow the show, grow the page. We're continuing to bust at the seams with new viewers every day. Love to see it. And again, it's you guys in the chat that, keep us coming back, working hard, but it's your plays are. I know Billy and I were talking about it, guys in the chat sharing these plays and talking about you guys in the spots that you're sharing with us that are getting there to cash as well. So we see them. We want to highlight them. We want to get you guys on the screen as well, sharing your plays out there in your spots. So let's jump in, though. Let's open this thing up. I see our guys ready to jump into college hoops. We want to move quickly through this NHL slate. Let's just take a couple of minutes to break it down. Again, last day before the All-Star break. And the All-Star break's pretty cool. If you've never seen the way that the NHL does it, this year is going to be spectacular. They got 3 teams. They're going to roll a little tournament out there, and they're going to play. Winner takes home $1 million. So they're going to play 3-on-3. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fast-paced hockey, and should be a pretty cool way to spend this weekend kind of watching what them boys are doing on the ice. But let's get into it. First game on the slate that we have tonight. We're looking at it. Love the new graphics. Our guy T getting it tight and right. That's what we need right there. And right indeed, we've got the Senators Red Wings game as we break this one down. We've got Korpisalo coming back in. Remember what I said the other day? When we have a goalie replace a guy and you think he's cold, it's exactly the opposite thing that happens. Korpisalo comes in because Nashville was smacking up them Ottawa Senators. I think it was 3-0 in the first period. What do? They bring in Korpisalo. What does Korpisalo do? He saves every one of 17 shots on their way to a 4-3 overtime win. The team total under cash. The live team total under cash for now. I mean, we lost that Nashville spot, but just highlighting these goalie changes and where it makes sense to take advantage. Don't sway away. Don't necessarily. I mean, if it's a firing team like Colorado Avalanche or something like that, where they're scoring a ton of goals, yeah, you got to take that for a grain of salt. But in a spot like that with Korpisalo, stood on his head, but compromised the rest strategy that they had for this guy. So he has a 3.43 goals against average with an 88.8 save percentage. Lyon on the other side of things, 13-6-1 with a 2.49 goals against average and a 92.4% saving right now. Detroit firing. Last 2 victories, WW, and they're outscoring their opponents 8-2 in those spots. This Korpisalo spot, though, kind of what pushed me over the edge. 3 or fewer goals in 5 of his last 6 games. But look on the other side of the net there. Lyon, he's going for his 7th straight start. His last 2 games, 58-60 saves. He's got a shutout in that mix, and he's rolling 96.7% saving out there right now. Just a stud. Just out there, exactly what they needed at this point. They're scoring a lot of goals. We just talked about how they're outscoring opponents. The tricky spot here for Ottawa, though, 4-1-2 in their last 7. You guys know I look at those teams They've got points in 6 of their last 7 games. Kind of a big cautionary, but I'm going with the fact that Korpisalo's rest strategy was compromised because Sogard was so awful they had to put him in net. And now he's going to have himself an extra 2 periods that he wasn't expecting to have going out there. Well, he played well in relief last game. I think Detroit's firepower is going to be enough to get this job done. And I saw minus 110. Let me just double check these numbers and make sure that we're taking advantage of the best line available here. I still see a minus 110. Yep. Minus 110 over there at PointsBet. 115s, 118s, 120s, and now 125s out there as well. So get it while it's hot. That's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start. Game number 2 we're going to talk about here. We're going to move quickly through the ice so that we can capitalize on the NBA and college basketball with our guy Billy Briz coming in for the overtime look for us here today on a Wednesday. We're going to go to this Kings and Nashville game. It's game 2 on the card, and I believe this is the 7:30 Eastern start. Great opportunity, I think, in this spot here to take this road Kings at a low price. The fact that they're one of those teams that's kind of indexed to win the Stanley Cup, they started out strong, have completely choked in the last 19 games or 18 games out there. They are struggling. They're 2-9-5 over their last 16. They've lost 14 of 16 games, but in comes David Rittich, 4-1-3. He's going out there with a 209 goals against average and a 92% save percentage. Kind of puts him into that upper echelon of goaltenders in the NHL. Not kind of, it does. It pushes him into that upper echelon of goaltenders in the NHL right now. On the other side of things, we've got Saros at 19-18-2. This guy has played a ton of games. He needs this all-star break. He's got to get some rest out there. I mean, he's got to be just ground down and beat up at this point. 294 goals against average, 90.3% save percentage. Nowhere near that upper echelon, and it's sometimes that close. A couple percentage points makes all the difference in the world. Rittich, now back-to-back starts. I mentioned that he's been playing. He's the only guy that's gotten their wins out there, but he's been playing pretty well as far as overall numbers. 3 or fewer goals in 5 of 6 games. The Kings are 2-1-2 in those starts that he's out there. So they are grinding and finding a way to grab points despite overtime losses. And I think tonight's the spot where they catch the win. We've got Nashville on a 2-game losing streak. They gave up in that Ottawa game. That was just a poor display, poor performance out there. Saros, again, coming back in. He allowed 4 goals on 35 shots to end up with a 4-3 overtime loss. Prior to that, though, 3 or fewer goals allowed in 6 of 7 games for a 3-1-1 record. So I know LA Kings 0-2-2, but certainly a spot that you want to take note of here. A low price spot. What do we have on deck for us here? First of all, and I didn't touch this, but I was close to getting on the total. I was close to the under. It's a 6. Starting to see 5.5s. I have not had the best of luck this last week and a half with 6s. They seem to go 5-2 finals on me, and I'm getting screwed in the last minute. Not by empty nets, but by the team that just got bludgeoned, finding a way to put a puck in at the end and crush it for me. So are we one? Am I one ahead or one behind? We're on the Sharks? Nope, we're not. But nonetheless, we're in the LA Kings spot. And when I look at these Kings, what it comes down to for me here, revenge opportunity. When you're the away favorite after a home favorite loss, you're 530 and 275. We've cashed the last 6 spots that opportunity has presented itself. The revenge spot, the away favorite after a home favorite loss here, absolutely on deck. Also, a little similar, but just a little different at the same time. When you previously beat the team out there and now you're a home dog, the opponent's got a win percentage of 50% or better. You're 30 and 93. You're losing those games by 1.5 goals on average, 1.54 goals out there. I think it's a king spot. I think they close this thing out confidently, comfortably to get this job done against Nashville, who looked like they all but gave up after that big lead on that last game out there. And last but not least, let's talk about it. You guys already saw the sneak peek out there. The secret's out of the bag now. We're going for it. We're going to run them back, and there's absolutely no reason not to out here. San Jose Sharks going back to Kokkonen at 6-14-1. Terrible. But a 3.59 goals against average and 90.1% save percentage. On the other side of this thing, Gibson, 9-19-1 with a 309 goals against average and a 90% save percentage. This is very similar spot that I saw yesterday. You got bad versus bad. Now, Blackwood was able to come off that first end of the back-to-back spot with the 2-0 shutout. Kokkonen on the other side of things, 4 goals on 35 shots his last time out. So definitely need a bounce back spot for Kokkonen. But, we've been seeing dogs barking here early as we've entered this week. We saw both of them cash out yesterday. We've got, some favorites starting off this card tonight. And I think this is a spot where we see San Jose continue their good on them performance right now. And who do we talk about yesterday? We talked specifically about Marc-Edouard Vlasic. And what does he do? He fires the puck in the goal, gets the game-winning spot for us out there. Very much, I think, alive again, by the way. We'll talk about that in a second. But this is Gibson's third start in 4 games. He's got 4 goals on 44 shots and a 4-3 loss against Dallas. And Gibson has lost 3 of his last 4 starts. This is that spot where you got to scratch your head and say, why the hell is this a minus 182 and climbing for Anaheim Ducks? And again, we look at that plus money spot, the puck line spot, the plus 1.5, minus 155. Very similar profile to yesterday. They're suggesting this game's going to be tight. Maybe it goes to overtime. Maybe we see another under. It's going to be a tight margin game that I want to get on the plus money side of it. So plus 160 for me with San Jose. We've got just a lot going for us, I think. And we've got enough going against Gibson and the Anaheim Ducks that we want to stay with this hot team here. The veterans have come back. I mentioned that with Vlasic. He is not going to let them boys quit. Same thing with Couture as well. We've got just too much going for us on the San Jose side not to take advantage. And I mentioned Marc-Edouard Vlasic. He's got a goal in each of his last 2 games out there for the San Jose Sharks. So there's that veteran presence and leadership that's led them to a nice 4-1 run in their last 5 games. Also, he's like plus 1,200 to score a goal tonight. So I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their money. But that might be a little spot you want to take a little nibble on there because I think the Sharks can put a big bite in these Anaheim Ducks tonight. And we're going to be eating duck for dinner again as we go into the All-Star break. So that'll do it for the NHL. The quick round the horn spot out there. DC Capper says, got a card there loaded up for us. We'll get that on the screen for him because it is a banger. He's got Virginia under 114. I like that Virginia spot. They're in the 12-0 spot to the under. DC Capper likes West Virginia plus 4.5. Chicago State plus 13.5. All right. Baylor minus 3. San Jose in the NHL. South Florida under 139. Belmont plus 9. Georgia plus 6.5. And he's got some NBA plays as well. Cleveland minus 12.5. Milwaukee minus 9.5. Oh, what 3 do you like? Are you asking me what 3 do I like? Well, let's bring on our next guest because college basketball aficionado here, NBA expert, killing it in the props game and doing us the favor to come back since we were down a guest. I hope he enjoys his game tonight. But let's bring on Billy Briz. Back to back spots here for Billy Briz. Billy, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. A little bit lower volume type of day for me, but we won yesterday, so I give out all the money right back to him. So we're just looking to be nice and tight. Had to do some UFC tape studying today.
It's a big UFC weekend, right? We're back on track again. I don't know. They had that little, I don't know why they come back and then they go off to a quick break like that, but I'm looking forward to some MMA weekend here as well. That's a lot of fun to get that cash here. I wanted to get you in here because our guy DC Capper's got this question here. It looks like he's maybe trying to do a 3-leg parlay of some sort. And let's get your opinion on this thing. I know I kind of see some spots that I like in this card, but what do you think?
Am I picking 3?
Yeah, pick 1 or 2, whatever.
I like the Belmont plus 9. I like the West Virginia plus 4.5, but putting money on them is kind of sketchy. And I would say Cleveland minus 12.5. I think they smacked Detroit.
Gotcha. I would lean to I like the West Virginia plus 4.5. I like that Virginia under 114. And I like that Georgia spot too against Alabama. So there you go. I hope that helps. We give you guys a little bit of insight there. If you're throwing them out there to us, DC Capper, you're one of the OGs of the show. We want to give you some looks there and see what you got going on. Hoops 590 likes that Wake Forest plus 2 spot. Blue Numbers says Sharks Nation. Yeah, absolutely Sharks Nation tonight. Morgan Spooner says favorite play tonight, St. John's plus 2. Morgan Spooner, I don't like seeing that, my guy. I know we talked a little earlier about that. So, you know what? You can catch your plus 2. I got the money line in that spot. So we can both win if it's a 1-point finish. So let's see how that goes there. Gerald Jones says on the over, Purdue Northwestern over 65.5, 141. Oh, that's halftime. And then 141 full time. Mel says, just like yesterday, I would likely only be on Sharks team total under 2.5 here. And it cashed yesterday. Yeah, we got that big score though, Mel. That was a big one for us last night, plus 195 spot. Philly Eagle Flyer says Sharks win 2 in a row. Fire. Subhuman Gaucho. I called some Drakes over the weekend and had good for you, my guy. Had duck for dinner last night. It was delicious. Subhuman Gaucho. That's a good sign for what we got going on there. Let's do it. Chillis says standing on brizziness, baby. Let's go. Subhuman says excellent play with the Ravens ladder, the Reeves ladder last night, Billy. Lots of shout outs to Billy Briz giving out that ladder play yesterday. And Turnsy, what up, Turnsy? Says Mike M. I need a birthday pick for my son. He turns 8. He turns 8 out there. All right, we'll keep that in mind as well. We'll make a note for the birthday pick. After we go through the card, we'll see which one we like the best for you, my guy. And Blue Number says, I'm Baylor for me. Morgan says, Mike, have you looked at St. Joe's George Mason game? That's not one that I looked at, Morgan Spooner. Maybe our guy Billy's got a shot on there.
That's actually one of the games I have circled for topics. I have St. Joe's, Memphis, and Bradley.
Nice. And there's our guy, Director 97. The old $5 dono from our guy, Director 97. His play of the day, 7 p.m. Eastern, Radford -10. 2,700 bets, 91% on the bets, 82% on the money. Let's cash some tickets, guys. Pimp slap, have a beer on me. Thanks, Director 97. I appreciate you, my guy. Always in here sharing his plays.
That was wild head-to-head that I saw on that. Radford has beat them I think it's 8 straight times head-to-head.
Yeah, there's only, it's funny. As much as I looked at a lot of the cards, I got to say, I woke up hungover as up today. So I was struggling to get through this college basketball card and fired off a bunch of spots, but that just wasn't one that made the cut. I did circle back. I've got 3 more that I'm going to add here to the card, but let's dig into it. Let's get in here. Let's get rolling on this college basketball card, Billy. Like I said, I didn't get the opportunity to see what kind of spots that you're on here tonight. So I know we've got the 6 o'clock windows already kicked off here, 6:30 as well. What do you think about the 7 o'clock windows, or anything that jumps off at you that you want to, give us a little look at?
Yeah, I think the A10 conference, I think Morgan put it in the chat. George Mason +4.5 versus St. Joe's -4.5. This is definitely one of the games that I have circled on the card for tonight, this evening. Maybe because I'm a little bit biased, live in the area, and it's a St. Joe's team that's close to my heart. 55% of the money is coming in on St. Joe's, 45% on the other side. Pretty neutral type of game when it comes to the ticket count. It feels like a game that bettors aren't really putting on their card, but I think St. Joe's would be looking to push the pace tonight at home, where they're 9-2 straight up, coming off a loss that snapped a 3-game win streak for them, but they're still sitting 7th in the A10 standings. So I expect to see their best efforts tonight. I mean, they're solid offensively, 77.5 points per game, 94th in the country, shooting 45.5% field goal range, 37.1 from 3-point, which is top 50 in the country. George Mason, though, they have owned the historical trends in this matchup head-to-head, 7-1 straight up in their last 8 games versus St. Joe's. But George Mason comes into this game somewhat sputtering in form, 1-4 ATS last 5 games, 73.9 points per game, 195th in the country. But they're only allowing 66.7 points per game, which is 61st in the country. I think it's going to be a sweat, but St. Joe's is going to pull this one at home, pushing the pace, relying on their offense, outscoring George Mason in this one. I like St. Joe's here. I would endorse it minus the 4.5. It's going to be a sweaty one, though. If you're looking for a game that you're getting the Bet365 21 plus payout, early payout, this is not the game to circle. But if you're looking for a nice little short favor on tonight's card, I like St. Joe's against George Mason. St. Joe's is I just think it's an underrated ball club. They've been hooping this year. Reynolds has been really one of the forefronts in this conference for the A10. I think he leads the A10 in scoring. So I think St. Joe's gets this one together here. Last weekend, we ended up having to fade St. Joe's. I think it was last Friday. They played at St. Bonnie's on national television. They got schmacked. It was like a obvious St. Bonnie spot. But other than that, man, they've been really impressive. I mean, road win at UMass. Frank Martin's probably one of the best coaches in that division. Beat I'm going to jack up the name. I can't say it. The Queen. I can't say it. They beat them at home 71-69. And they beat Duquesne. 71-69. They didn't cover the spread, but they won. LaSalle, they blew them out by 20. I think they get this one and they cover here. 9-2 straight up, but 8-4 ATS wise. So usually when they're winning at home, they're covering.
Gotcha. Looking at started off here. What'd you say the number was? -4.5?
-4.5, -110.
Nice. Getting us rolling here in college hoops. I'll jump on one here that I'm going to give you guys out here. Play-wise, I'm not sure what we have back. I'm not sure which one we have loaded up first. All right, there we go. Let's go to the big one here, the big showdown with Georgia. I looked for a couple common themes tonight, and kind of the big one that I found first off the hop was how did teams do in the SEC in this spot tonight? And let me pull this game up because we have a bunch of them out there, and I just got to get this one on the radar here. Where is it? It's such a massive. There's so many games. And the worst part is if you go buy it and you're sitting back there, can I find it quickly here? Can I find it? Am I still rolling? Where is it? Oh, I can't find it here off the hop here. Nonetheless, let me jump into it here, and I'll tell you guys really quick the numbers and kind of how I got to this spot. Looking at conference home teams, it's a Wednesday factor. So for whatever reason, it's the middle of the week, and you have to think about these student-athlete schedules. They get sometimes they've got the tutors coming in early in the week to help them bridge through some of the classes that they missed because they're on the road. And that kind of speaks to what's going on here. When we got this conference home team, it certainly favors them at 13-3 against the spread. The average line they're seeing is -3.5, but they're winning those games by 10. And we just saw Alabama, that Auburn spot, that was a big spot for Alabama. They had to have that one circled, knowing, Auburn's coming in there with a 16-1 run over their 17-game stretch. I think they hadn't lost a game since they lost to Baylor to start the season off. So it was a tricky spot for them, and they got through there. They got the job done. It was we talked about the fouls and some of those spots that were out there, but I think it's a little air out of the tire situation now with this Bama spot, and I like the 6.5 with Georgia. Georgia's won each of its last 11 games at home against non-ranked opponents out there. So big spot, I think, for Georgia to come through, capitalize on this win for us. I keep scrolling. I just can't find this game. So nonetheless, let's keep rolling. Is it because it started at 6:30? Is that why I can't find it?
Yeah, I think this game was tipped off.
My fault. Let's go. I'll tell you another one, though, that fits a similar criteria. This West Virginia-Cincinnati game. And this one I know is a 7:00 start. So I hate that I just did that to you guys, but it's certainly a live bet potential opportunity out there. And we've got this spot with West Virginia. I found this one, no problem. That's because it hasn't started yet. Cincinnati, West Virginia. We've got 72% of the bets on West Virginia, but only 53% of the cash. The number's climbing, 142 now, 143.5 and 144.5. 75% of the public on the under, the bets, but 58% of the cash on the over. I love to correlate the over to the dogs out there. And another spot where we've got the conference home team on a Wednesday, 13-3, when they're either in the Big 12 or they're in the SEC. Again, the average line, 3.5. They're winning those things by 10. I think as much as you talked about this, Billy, on the hop with this thing, talking a little bit about, do you put your money on them? I know they're 7-13, but Morgantown's a tricky spot to travel to. They're 8-11. We got them coming off of back-to-back losses. But prior to that, at home in Morgantown, who did they go out there and handle 91-85? Kansas. They still got a little life left in the tank out there as they're getting into this Big 12 tournament out there. And I'm going to take this West Virginia spot at +4.5, Billy. Am I crazy?
I wish you the best of luck with you and your wagers. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I lived in the state and all that good stuff. Just not a team I want to put my money on. That team is dog shit, man. I mean, they have a couple of guys. They look half decent for like 20 minutes. And you're like, man, maybe West Virginia's got some value on them in the upcoming weeks. And then you put your money on them. Then you're like, is this the same Jesse Edwards that played at Syracuse last year that led the ACC in scoring? Because that kid in the Big 12, oh man, if that's what your trajectory is like, if you can't get it done in the Big 12, I don't think the NBA suited out for you. I mean, last year you would have told me Jesse Edwards at Syracuse, I would have said bona fide NBA prospect. But you're betting on West Virginia at plus money, and Jesse Edwards is in the game. I wouldn't want it any other way. That's why I stopped betting on West Virginia for a little bit, because the Jesse Edwards situation. He was out with injury. Now he's back. Won't be on the minutes. I don't think he'll be on a minutes limit for this game. So I think Cincinnati is a better team, but this is a West Virginia spot, if that makes sense.
I think the Kansas spot to me, where they came into Kansas and they were out there to get the job done. Not scared about this Kansas side and cover the spread, but we've got 3 games left in the conference here. I think it's do or die time for West Virginia. They could easily get blown out of the gym in this spot, but I think the numbers favor the direction here. The 4.5. We're getting 4.5 because they've been playing so poorly their last 2 road games out there. Res Bob says, I've got so much action on one of my bets. I got both sides. I don't know how that happens, dude. Hopefully you found a middle in there. But Billy, what do you want to talk about next? What do you have on the card for your next looks in college hoops?
Yeah, we'll talk about the chalk spot that I like today here. Memphis minus the 15.5. Memphis enters this game coming off a 3-game losing streak, and on the surface, it feels like they're too many points. But Rice has been so bad defensively, and when you talk about the season synopsis for Memphis, time is running out on Memphis's NCAA tournament hopes, and I think they're going to take out some pent-up frustrations. I mean, out of their 3 games, 2 of the games were court storms. I mean, that can't sit well in the players' eyes and stuff like that. They're outside the top 25 AP polls. And I also feel like there's a little bit of recency bias baked into this line to the public betting window for this line. I mean, Memphis played back-to-back games that we saw them lose on Sunday before watching NFL football games. So, like, our last memory of Memphis has not been too found. I mean, back-to-back weekends, losing on a Sunday, court storms, and then they lost the Friday before that Sunday. So when you start thinking about it, you're like, damn, man, Memphis hasn't won a ball game in fucking weeks, it feels like. It feels like that one conference championship game weekend was like a month ago, like watching the Bills and Chiefs and stuff like that. I remember I had Memphis on right before that, and they ended up fucking losing the game to oh my goodness. I think they went into UAB, they lost or something. It's been so many losses for Memphis in this last little week. This is the get right spot. They're finally back at home. They're going to smash Rice here. Rice is damn near one of the worst teams in the AAC.
Yeah, and I think you're getting that buy low opportunity here because they have come off of 3 losses. So as much as it's buy low, you're still laying 14.5 points, but interesting spot for our guy, Billy Briz with Memphis tonight. I saw the cash flow and we've got only 36% of the bets, but 77% of the cash on the Rice side. And yet it's moved up in some books, it's moved to 0.5 point. So anytime you got all that money coming in on the public dog there, the road dog, and it's not really budging. In fact, they're making it more attractive. Pretty much a red flag out there. So Memphis minus 14.5. Can't complain about that spot there. I think Memphis has to get right. You can't feel good about this court storm. And you got your pride and dignity on the line. At this point, so.
1 week, bro. That's absurd, man. Like, I mean, imagine being a player, man. You're like, fuck, man. Every time we fucking lose a game, man. I mean, these kids are fucking storming the court. I mean, I would be pissed off.
Everybody comes to play us and kick it's the biggest win of their season out there at 15-5 with this team here. You think they were unbeaten in the nation, but here they are sitting there with 15-5. So we've got that Memphis spot at 14.5. I'll jump in. I don't know if you have anything else kicking for the college card here, but I've got one more spot that I want to look at. It's not going to be a popular play. I can share that with you guys already here. I'm going to this Baylor UCF side of things. 58% of the cash, 58% of the bets, 77% of the cash on Baylor, and has not budged. Frozen line alert. Then as far as the total, 66% of the bets on the over, but 59% of the cash on the under. I do see a 3.5 out there. So, marginal movement, I guess, is the best way to describe it at this spot here. And it comes down to a real simple one for you guys. When you got a home team that's -7 or less, they're 42-2 against the spread when they're playing a ranked team with more wins in that situation. UCF plus 3.5. I know Baylor's the hot team. Everybody wants to get on Baylor, but I'm going to go with this UCF plus 3.5 spot here for the NCAA card for me. That's the last play that I had for college basketball tonight, Billy. But take us through it. What else are you thinking about?
Yeah, we're gonna go to the mid-major game here. Northern Iowa plus 7.5 versus Bradley minus 7.5 here. I like Bradley here. I shouldn't even say I like Bradley. Bradley's one of my most confident spots on the card tonight. This is a little bit of, I feel like, an overreaction to Bowen Bourne, one of Northern Iowa's starters. He's actually going to be in there for tonight. But, I mean, Bradley's going to be a tough fucking out. If at that game over the weekend was any indicator of what this conference finals is going to look like, they went into overtime in Indiana State, where nobody fucking wins in Indiana State. And they took them in the overtime and fought nail and tooth towards the end, and were scratching and crawling, ended up losing that game in overtime. And that showed me, man, this is a squad that you want to have your money on this upcoming weeks heading in the conference tournament, because they're going to catch Indiana State, man. That's going to be a good game when they rematch that one. They're looking to bounce back at home here, where they're 9-2 straight up, and they scored 76.8 points per game and shooting a 47.8 field goal percentage, 37.9% from 3-point, and only defensively allowing 67.7 points per game. The shooting gap between these teams is the reason why I'm on Bradley so much. Bradley's 17th in the country when it comes to shooting percentages, and Northern Iowa is 103rd. So they don't have the offense to keep up with Bradley. They've only scored 64.7 points per game over their last 3 games. That is Northern Iowa. So just off of that alone, if that's what your ceiling is, you're about to get smoked here in what do they call this center? The Carvier Arena in Illinois tonight. It's going down. Bradley's got some revenge in their heart, man. I mean, that was a heartbreaker over the weekend. They almost got one over Indiana State. Maybe some people that are saying it could be a look-ahead spot for the weekend, but I don't think they care about going into Illinois State. That's just my opinion.
Well, Kelly V says she likes it. She says Bradley Braves at home are very good. And there's Ed. Ed Searfoss says, I hope I said your last name right. Ed Searfoss. I took UCF plus 158 on Caesars out there. My guy going with the big plus money spot there, trying to get the outright with them boys out there. Kelly V also says Indiana State players swap. Swoop had 24 points and 3-pointers. Belmont plus 13. Teaser lean under out there for Kelly V as well. Billy, what else are we cooking here in the college basketball? You got any other late night cooking for us?
The only other spot that I was looking at is just a little bit this is me saying this, so this is a little bit priced out of my range, but hard lean on on Avocado, New Mexico tonight against Boise State. That's a smash spot for New Mexico State. I mean, Boise State, they looking to bounce back after taking all of our fucking money playing at home against Utah State on Saturday. Maybe so, but I don't know, man. Boise State is just not a team I want to be betting on going into New Mexico State.
Interesting spot there. We know Richard Pitino, not Rick Pitino, but his son, beating teams up right now. Their averaging margin of victory, it was like 20.5 points, I think I saw as I was looking at that game earlier today. And beating teams by double-digit points out there. So they are finding a way to get it done. 11 points. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points.
That's when you start looking at the team totals. Like, all right,
yeah,
the next team is going to win this. Maybe they just lock up the Boise State offense. Boise State team total under 71.5 caught my eye. I don't think they.
Yeah, they've not covered that number at all on the road, right? They're under their team total. I think every single game on the road this season as well. So probably a defensive affair out there, but maybe lower scoring, maybe the under. A lot of points, but let's move into the NBA. I know we've got ourselves a nice NBA card tonight here, just kind of on the fly as we're going through this thing here. I know we've got a couple 7 o'clock spots that popped off, and from a housekeeping perspective here, we'll start with this Clippers and Wizards game here. This line opened up at 11. We're seeing 9.5s now, 51% of the bets and 73% of the cash on the Clippers, and it's a reverse line movement situation for these clip shows here. On the other side of things, the total opened at 239, 71% of the bets, but 56% of the cash on the over. And yet that's dropped 3.5 points out there, even 4 points in some spots, Billy. I don't know if you had a look on this one or not to kick this card off for us here, but I know for me, my perspective here, I was looking at points in this thing. I don't love seeing the numbers not moving in that correlated direction for me, but I will say the Wizards 20-2 to the over when they're at home, awful road game, when they've got a total that's over 227.5 points. When they index it at a medium to high number, it's going over by almost 14 points a game in this spot there. And the best number I can lock in right now, Billy, is 235.5. I'll take advantage of this line movement down in that direction, but tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, there's only one thought and one thought only in this game. How do you not put your money on James Harden, man? He's been absolutely going off. I think he's doubled or triple doubled in 4 out of his last 5 games. His prop line opened up today at 8.5 assists at -135. Then after the Paul George news, it got moved to 10.5 at plus money. His double prop opened up at -150 and just going up to -200 in some places. I think that tells you everything you need to know. No Paul George in the lineup for the Clippers tonight, and James Harden's been smashing. He's gone, if you're looking for an alt line parlay, 8 assists for James Harden. He's gone over 9 out of his last 10 games, over 8 assists, 8 out of his last 10 road games, over 4 out of 4 of his games versus Washington. Washington allows 10.3 assists per game towards the point guard position. Another one to look at, James Harden over 15.5 rebounds and assists is at -150. James Harden's gone over 3 straight games, averaging 18.3 rebounds and assists. He's had an uptick of rebound chances with Zubac out of the lineup, averaging 10.7 rebound chances per game. For a point guard, bro, that's pretty ridiculous. And the Wizards give up the 2nd most assists and the 5th most rebounds to the point guard position. So the way this looks like, shit, man, I think James Harden's about to triple-double tonight. I mean, we should say triple-double watch because we talked about it last night, man. Josh Hart out here, we said – you might want to sprinkle on the double-double, triple-double, and you end up having 10 across the board. I didn't get to the window with the triple-double, but, man, I wish I would have, man. That shit was – I saw some of the tickets on Twitter, bro. $100 won you back $55,000 if you put it on Josh Hart triple-double. So when I see this James Harden triple-double sitting at +950 and his double-double prop is already -200, I mean – we just need the Wizards to stay in this game. So that would be the way I would go in this game. I mean, I got James Harden in my daily fantasy lineup, but that 950 triple-double is staring at me like it just wants to be bet on.
I mean, shit, I see 1200s and even plus 1400s out. 1250s now is the biggest number that we see out there with a little bet MGM action. So maybe a little sprinkle there. Maybe it's a little sprinkle to try to get that big score and get the big payday out there. Let's keep going through this NBA card. Anything official then for you on this game?
I mean, I can't go official with a sprinkle, but I will be betting 10-1 on James Harden triple-double. That's absurd, bro. He's double-doubled or triple-doubled in 4 out of his last 5 games and no Paul George in the lineup. And he gets probably the best guard matchup for peripheral stats in the whole entire NBA against the Wizards.
Look at our guy James out there. Says, yeah, the Buffalo Bulls got boat raced yesterday.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, money paid.
I hate to be that guy that says we told you, but we told you. That's a bad team, man. They got beat the fuck up yesterday.
Yeah, you and Jeff are always giving like Buffalo Bills men's basketball updates. Like, you see how much they lost by the other day?
I mean, it's terrible. It's abysmal what they did out there. But look, we got a couple more 7 o'clock spots we want to get to for you guys. So we'll move quickly here. Next game, we'll talk about the Pistons and the Cavs. Sorry, we're just going to kind of cover the rest of these guys here. Cavs and Pistons, -11, now -13. 64% of the bets, 48% of the cash on the Cavs. The back number, 228.5, has climbed. 230s, 231s, and even 232s. Despite 52% of the bets and 55% of the cash on the under. Billy, I know we got to move quick to get this next one in as well. What do you think? Any thoughts? Anything you want to talk about on this game?
No, I'll save everybody's time. You couldn't pay. If you gave me a free bet on this game, I would give you the free bet back.
I didn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. I didn't even look at any of the props. I looked at nothing in this game. I had no interest in getting involved with that side of things. But one more 7 o'clock game that maybe there is some interest in is this Bulls and Hornets game. We know that this line opened up at 2. We've seen it as high as 6, 81% of the bets and 79% of the cash on the Bulls. And the numbers dropping from 218.5 all the way on down to 214, 56% of the bets and 71% of the cash, Billy. I see Kelly V says Charlotte over 10 rebounds for Richards at plus money out there. What do you think? Any way you're trying to get paid in this game?
Yeah, man. When we always talk about Bulls games, it feels like we're always talking about Kobe White and his props. I actually think Io Sumo needs to be circled, man. This kid's playing this is his best NBA stretch of his whole entire career. He's been getting more usage playing the point guard position. He scored double digits in 8 consecutive games, and 10 plus points for the first time of his career, shooting 56.6 field goal percentage, averaging around 14.7 points per game. So, I mean, every time that you think, why didn't your Kobe White prop cash? It's because Io Sumo is the one that's doing it right now. Is the guy that they invested in, that they thought that was going to get more minutes. They are trying to like force feed him the basketball, and he's actually producing now. So, I mean, I thought his prop lines were all low across the board tonight. Kobe White's 3-point prop on the surface, it popped out to me, but some of the line, when you see a prop go from minus 178 down to minus 150, that's just the cheese trap that the books are handing out for you that tells me Kobe White's about to go like 2 for fucking 8 tonight for the 3-point line. So I think Io Sumo is the way to go. His assist prop is already at 2.5, juiced at minus 160. So the books are kind of accounting for him playing the point guard position. His rebound prop is at 3.5 at minus 148. So if he's going to go over on the assist and the rebounds, and he scored double digits in 10 straight games, I think he goes over his PRA today. Maybe try to narrow it down to points and assists. I couldn't figure out how I wanted to dice it and slice it, but Io Sumo is definitely a person I'm going to have circled on my cards for the upcoming weeks.
We will put the name on notice out there. I know I was texting you yesterday. I forgot the guy that you had given out there. You talked about his rebound numbers, and he had it in the first quarter. I think he cashed that thing out there. So I was like, shit.
Aaron Naismith. I should have played him in my daily fantasy.
That's right. That's what it was. Naismith, right?
I looked at
7:30.
And I was like, how the fuck is he the leading scorer of the slate? And I have like none of them.
Right off the hop, the guy was out there firing away, getting all them rebounds. I was like, holy shit, this guy just literally one of them goes off. It's him and not my guy, which, hey, good on you for calling it out there. I missed it by a rebound, and he smoked it. He got all them rebounds and screwed me on it. So 7:30, we got the Sacramento Kings and the Miami Heat. We've got this line open at a +1. Now +2.5. 34% of the bets, 44% of the cash on the Kings. So cash coming in on them Miami Heat to move this thing up to 2.5 spot. And then as far as the total dropping, we open at 230.5. Now down to 228s with 66% of the bets on the over, but 96% of the cash on the under in this Miami Heat spot, Billy. You got any plays for us?
Yeah, Pimp. I told you last night, man, when we're on stream at Who Bag, we were talking about games for tomorrow. I said, bro, call me crazy, but the Miami Heat will be a bet tomorrow. And I just had to find out a little bit more information and stats. And then we got the gift of the gambling fucking gods. We haven't talked about referee statistics in a very long time, but we got some here for this game. But let's talk about the spot scenario here. The Kings are playing their 9th road game in their last 11 games with one of the worst defenses in the NBA of allowing 119.7 points per game on the road this season. Why are the Heat favored? They've lost 8 games. They lost 7 games in a row. This could be the 8th. And they're laying points tonight. That tells you everything you need to know, man. The Kings are getting ready for a back-to-back Friday and Saturday. Friday night, they play in Indianapolis, and then Saturday night, they're playing in Chicago to close out a fucking horrible road trip. I mean, granted, their record looks good from the road trip, and maybe they need to get away from the house, but man, 9 out of 11 of your last games are on the road. Bro, you probably haven't seen Sacramento in God knows how long. I don't know, man. I just feel like this is a spot here for the Heat. They're hearing about the trade rumors, Jimmy Butler to fucking New York. They just traded for Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is like, bro, you guys just traded for me. Now you're talking about we're tanking here. Get out of here. I think Spoelstra is going to have the boys together at home where they win games. And then when we got the referee stats coming out today, man, we got lead referee here, Ed Malloy, where the home favorite is 21-11 ATS this year, which includes Miami being 2-0 ATS when he's reffed the game so far. And with the other two referees working with him, Dedrick Taylor and Brandon Adar, they are a combined 5-2 ATS to the home team in their last 7 games that they worked in that involved a Western Conference opponent going to an Eastern Conference opponent gym. So we're smacking the Heat tonight. Heat on the money line. Hopefully the refs gives us a couple of calls. They want to see Miami in there, baby. We ain't going for number 8 here. It's the NBA play of the day today, man. You're giving us the stats and the juice. It's up to us to figure it out. And we had the gut feeling that the Heat are going to win a fucking basketball game, and then the stats backed it up. Give me Miami, man. The Heat is on. We're going to be playing. Get jiggy with it. Nah. Nah. Would they cash this ticket tonight? Short card for me today in the NBA. This is the favorite spot for me.
Nice. Our guy JPZ says he says he'll believe it when he sees it at this point. And Caddy Daddy loves the referee angles. Says in the NFL it's a great cap as well. Bringing the game for us there. That's how you know our guy Billy's ready to tune up here and go after it tonight. So he's on that Miami Heat spot there. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go on this next game on the card here. We know we got to get moving, boys and girls. We got the All About the Hoops with them boys, Dutch and Dabby, right around the corner. We want to make sure we get you guys on your way for this game. Magic Spurs, big opportunity for me in this game. This line opened at -5, kind of bounced around up as high as 6.5s, down to 5s again, 4.5s, 76% of the cash. 76% of the bets, 83% of the cash on the Magic. The total opens at 229.5 and it's dropped. It's down to 225.5. So we've got 4 points of movement downward, 40% of the bets and 60% of the cash on this under, Billy. I'll tell you what I did. I try to take advantage anytime I see them boosts out there, and DraftKings had a nice one tonight. It's a 100% boost. So it's a +305 same game parlay I stuffed together here, but with the boost, it makes it a +610. I'll track it a +305 in case some of you guys can't get those boosts out there. But make sure you take advantage and shop around appropriately. Look, I went to the Magic in this spot. I think it's a Magic win spot out there. I'm not impressed whatsoever with what I've seen from the Spurs. That last game, maybe I got to have a better term. Maybe I got to have a better short-term memory. Losing to Washington as a 3.5-point favorite to Washington in your own gym, no less out there. 118-113. I said Washington might start to become a buy-on team, so we'll keep our eyes on them. But I went the Magic in the money line. I've got Devin Vassell over 3.5 assists. He's got 5 or more assists in each of the Spurs' last 5 games when they are an underdog. And then I went to Wemby, and I've got the under 35.5. It's a combo stat there, points and rebounds. So under 35.5 points and rebounds. Look, the Magic, pretty solid defensive team. Low 111.2 points a game out there. And then if you look back at Wemby, he's not covered this number in his last 3. I know his blocks over 2.5. Wouldn't be mad if anybody wanted to add that piece to it, but the rebounds and points factor to me in a tighter Magic spot out there. He's got Banchero out there that's going to be going out there against him, probably putting him out there in some foul trouble. We know he likes to go out there and he's not one to shy down from getting himself in foul trouble. And again, when you look at the scene, when you look at what's going on with the Orlando Magic, they allow the fewest points, rebounds, and assists to the opposing small forward. So I thought this was a good opportunity not to go on the block side of things here, but I'm going to go with the under 35.5 points and rebounds. The Vassell over 3.5 assists. His number's 4.5, so I took that down to 3.5, and the Magic money line for a nice little +305 spot, Billy. Am I crazy? What do you think?
No, actually, it's funny that you said about Vassell's assist prop because my favorite play on this game is actually Trey Jones under 7.5 assists. And maybe that correlates with your Devin Vassell over 3.5 assists at -145 because if you look at Trey Jones' stats, man, he keeps on going under on his assist prop, even though he's the starting point guard. So he's getting priced like a starting point guard's assist prop, but he keeps on going under. So I was actually looking at that. And Wendell Carter Jr., maybe. He's going to have to play a lot. His props are going crazy on the books. Opened up at 10.5 at even odds. It's gone up all the way up to 12.5 at plus 100. I think the books are accounting for his length and size being matched up against Wembanyama, and he's been on somewhat a minutes limit of recent, and maybe that minutes limit comes off for this matchup here because the Orlando Magic this is going to be a very hungry Orlando Magic team. They've been dropping ball games left and right, and they're kind of losing their seeding position a little bit, and I think we're going to see a valiant effort from the Orlando Magic. If Sunday was any indicator against the Suns, how they're going to play, I think they're going to try to give it their best shot. I mean, they kind of just got out star powered in that Dallas game. I mean, when Luka the Don's out here putting up 45, 15, and 9, Dallas is an Eddie game that Luka's putting up 40 and 15 with Derek Lively having 20 points, 11 rebounds. Fucking Hardaway had a 40 bomb in that game. They just got out star powered in that game against Dallas in their last game. I don't think the San Antonio Spurs are going to outpower them. But the one thing that I don't like about the Magic, just like circling them for the next month, they're going too deep into the rotations, bro. I ain't trying to be putting no money on some team and seeing Jonathan Isaac out there like it's fucking Florida State all over again. Joe Ingles is out here. Great veteran guy for your locker room. Don't want to see him shooting the ball when I have money on the Orlando Magic. They're going too deep into the rotations. Wagner's been on somewhat of a minutes limit. And France is really the engine that gets this team going, man. I mean, if any indicator of Germany win that little Olympic thing that they had over the summer, it's because of Franz Wagner and Dennis Schroeder. I'll tell you that. Franz Wagner is out here shooting shot after shot after shot. And I feel like he's not on a lot of people's radar, but he's the thing that really gets this Magic team going. When Franz Wagner is playing at an elite level, the Orlando Magic are smacking teams. So I just don't see the spot here of laying the 6 here with the Orlando Magic. But if you told me at the final score they won by 30, I would not be shocked.
The Spurs, they certainly are not afraid to give up in this game. And I think that we might see that at the end of this thing here, a little give up action. Maybe Wemby does follow up for me in the second quarter, and I comfortably cash that under 35.5 points and rebounds as well. But let's talk 8 p.m. Eastern with the Dallas Mavericks. They're going on the road. They're going to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Talk about movement in this game here. -3.5 look ahead spot. Now -13's out there. 56% of the bets, 77% of the cash on Dallas to get that +13 now. So there's clearly this knee-jerk reaction where this number's gotten ballooned up so many points. Everybody's popping on Dallas. An interesting spot here. Not something you see every day. We don't talk about the money line very often in these big money spots, but +136 money line, now +600, 20% of the bets, but 96% of the cash. Taking a shot with Dallas on the money line in this thing here with a total that's dropping from 228.5 down to 221, 72% of the bets and 56% of the cash on the over. And yet it's fallen. Who's not playing in this game?
I think the better question is who's playing in this game rather than read off the long injury list of who's not playing. But projected starting lineup for the Mavericks tonight are Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway, Josh Green, Grant Williams, and Maxi Kleber. On the surface, I feel like the Mavericks are about to get blown out. But from like a betting perspective, man, like when you talk about the star player theory dates back to, are these players paid or not? When we're fading the Wizards because Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole are making fucking bank. You got LaMelo Ball driving fucking Porsches, fucking Disney Girl Channel stars and shit. When it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, I'm telling you right now, bro, Jaden Hardy's not living that life. He's fucking warming up the towels for Luka and Kyrie when it's a regular Mavericks game. So when he gets a chance to get his shit off, he's going to get his shit off. And I think he can get his shit off tonight. And if he gets going tonight, I mean, man, this seems like a lot of points for a Mavericks team that could just be gritty. I mean, you got Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway, Josh Green. I mean, those boys can score. They just need Jaden Hardy to facilitate. Granted, I wouldn't want this matchup against the Timberwolves, probably one of the better defensive teams in the league. But we've seen the Timberwolves over the last week. When they're not locked in and that they think that they're sweet shit and they're number one in the West, they start losing games and start blowing leads, and you start thinking, man, maybe this Timberwolves team is a trade away or maybe a year away. And I would say take the Dallas Mavericks with the points, and we're waiting on Jaden Hardy props. How do you say Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are out for over 8 hours, damn near it feels like, and you won't give the starting point guard in reverse his player prop on the sports book? I'm seeing Tim Hardaway Jr., Grant Williams. Who the fuck wants to bet a Grant Williams player prop? Josh Green, but they won't give out the starting point guard for the Mavericks tonight. They're going to have to 10 minutes to 15 minutes before the game. And when that time does arrive, we are slamming Jaden fucking Hardy. He's going to have a game tonight. And the only reason why I say he has a game tonight is because if the game's close, it's probably because of him. If they get blown out, he's still going to be in the game. And that's the angle that we've been really trying to hammer down on these player props is, can your minutes just be secure? Like Austin Reeves last night was a prime example. The Lakers got blown out by 30. The bench players were already subbed out. I mean, we're already subbed in for that in the fourth quarter. But we got there in the time being because of his usage rating in the time being. And if they got blown out, he would still be in. If the game was close, it's probably because of him. Kind of like the same theory here. If we can get that Hardy prop right around 12.5 to 15.5 points, I would definitely endorse the over on it. But I can't find a book that has it, man.
Well, I've got a couple numbers for you guys here. We got some questions in the chat as well. I've got the Timberwolves 18-1 against the spread when they're playing a team they lost to the last meeting as a favorite with over 25% win percentage out there. So a little 18. I don't want any part of that number. I think this is one of those situations where this number has just gotten so bloated now that, because of, like you mentioned, that Luka news here. But in the chat, we had a couple questions here. Our guy Voodoo Ranger said Wagner over 4 assists worth a look. Do you think that one sounds like you were leaning towards the Wagner side of things in that game?
Yeah, I do like the Wagner side of things in that game, but I actually think the best bets in that game is really the unders on Trey Jones, because like Mike was talking about, Devin Vassal's assist and his assist prop has gotten juice. But the only reason why it's gotten juice because his usage rating has gone up. So he's basically the main facilitator in the offense. He's either taking the shot or trying to get Wemby his shot. So I would bet the unders on Trey Jones in that one. Maybe a same game parlay.
Kelly V's asking Dallas team total under ? What do you think about that one?
I don't blame you. From the theory of Dallas could just get blown out and not care. I think a blowout angle prop could be if you think Dallas is going to get blown out, I bet Naz Reid over 9.5 points at -120. He's the guy that really takes over the usage in these like blowout situations that we've seen for the Timberwolves. When the Timberwolves are up by a lot, you just see Naz Reid go out there and he's shooting shots. And Naz Reid is not a rebounder. He's a scorer. So when he's out there to shoot the ball. Kind of like a Bobby Portis. Like when the Bucks blow out teams, you start looking at Bobby Portis props.
And I see our guy, Mr. Mechanical, says Wagner over 3.5 assists, Wendell Carter over 0.5 3, and Brooke Lopez over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists out there. It looks like he's saying, Kelly's asking about that Lopez PRA look, Portland weakness inside. And Mr. Mechanical says, Kelly's hit 9 of the last 10. Some great content with you guys in the chat. Love to hear it. Love to move on to this game here because there was definitely a no-play spot for me on that one, although we're waiting for some prop opportunities. 8 p.m. Eastern, Pelicans and the Rockets here. -3 opening for the Pelicanos. Now favorites. Now -3. Now dogs at +2. 35% of the cash. Bets, rather. 93% of the cash on the Pelican side of things, Billy. And the total's climbing. 64% of the bets. 85% of the cash on the under, yet it's moved up 3 points as well. So a little reverse line movement on that side of the house. Do you have any plays you want to kick off for us here?
Zion Williamson will not be in for the Pelicans. That's probably the hence of why all the lines have really moved and stuff like that. Projected starting lineup for the for the Pelicans tonight. Dyson Daniels, Trey Murphy, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas. And I feel like the Rockets are kind of like Ipe Udoka went through that little error where he was trying to enforce his rules and his playing style. And with that being said, it was kind of taken away from Jalen Green, who's obviously your best ceiling player. Alfred Sengun is good now. Jalen Green will be really good 5 years from now. And they kind of just given him free reins in the offense, and he's produced, man. I mean, coming off of his highest rebound peripheral game of the season in his last game. And I feel like they kind of had like a look at each other, and he said, you want to win games or you want to keep on losing playing these bum motherfuckers? And they said, fuck it, we want to win some games. And they're just letting Jalen Green do his thing. So I kind of lean towards the Rockets here. But this feels like a Vegas trap spot. Pelicans, people bet the Pelicans earlier in the day. Now Zion's out. The line moves. I don't know, man. This seems like a Rockets are pass for me.
Yeah, I ended up going. I'm going to take the 2 with New Orleans now. I was on the money line originally. I had a nice little angle. I'll share it with the next game that we talk about. But now that this has moved in this direction because of the Zion factor, this is going to be a tough spot. I'm going to take the 2 points still. I like this +2. I know the movement, I get it, but you're right. Like a lot of people played it earlier. Now we're seeing the action coming in because of that Zion thing, and look, it's a revenge opportunity as well, right? Because Houston beat them, if I'm not mistaken, the last time that they played. So it's a short number to get on top of here, and I know Houston kind of coming off the spot where. Houston beats up the Lakers 135-119 now on their second leg of a homestand. Pelicans have been reeling right now. I think it's good to get Zion out of that lineup, give him a little rest, let him get recharged for the next push out there, but that's going to open up some of them younger boys to go out there and get it done. So I'm going to take the 2. It's not my favorite spot on the card any longer because of the Zion factor, but I'm still going to be involved with it. DC Capper says, Mikey Money, I missed the 7 o'clock games. Traffic on the highway was terrible. What 3 teams you like after 7:30? That's kind of a loaded one.
That's a loaded question. I would say Bradley.
Yeah, I think the Magic probably are a decent spot there, but I've got the same game. It's a tricky spot for me to say DC because I got some parlay pieces together with the same game parlay on that Magic. As far as the Pelicans, I'm involved with the Pelicans at +2. Let's talk about this next game. We've got the Nuggets and Thunder. I kind of lean to the OKC Thunder in this spot, but again, we've got some jacked up movement specifically because we know that Joker's not playing in this game, right? He's been kind of ruled out of this thing. And now this number's sitting at OKC -6, in a spot where we've got, cash flow doesn't make much of a difference because the factor with the player news out there, it's moved it for 4 points. 34% of the bets and 61% of the cash on the Nuggets. But the money line is getting steamed on from an OKC side of things. So is this a spot where, no Joker, no problem? They come out there and sneak the OKC Thunder, Billy? Or do you think the Thunder are able to kind of clamp down on this 5.5, 6 and get the job done?
We need a confirmation on the injury news report for the Thunder because with Nikolai Jokic being out, that's drawn a lot of attention away from the Thunder injury news report. Jalen Williams is about to be out for like the next 2 to 3 weeks. He's damn near the second best player on that team behind, say, Gilgeous-Alexander. Chet Holmgren's listed as questionable for this game. They probably don't want him playing against DeAndre Jordan. They're probably like, all right, we can get away with that playing in this one. So as much as I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to smash in this spot, as long as SGA's out there, I think that they smash. But man, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Maybe it was a bad bet, but the third time, I'm just fucking stupid. I'm not betting on the Denver Nuggets without Nikolai Jokic on the court. I did that once this year, and believe it was against like the Grizzlies or something like that. And I took like Michael Porter Jr. props, and he missed. He made like the first 2 in like the first 10 seconds, and then he continued to miss 7 straight, and then they got blown out by like 30, and the game was over. And I don't know. I've seen this happen too many times. The Nuggets with DeAndre Jordan for Nikola Jokic might be the biggest drastic of like a change of a team of the whole entire NBA. Like, fuck the star player theory. That shit gets thrown out the window when DeAndre Jordan's in the starting lineup for Nikola Jokic. Who the fuck is this guy still in the league?
I do have the this is just a tricky one that we need confirmation. You're absolutely right here. I mean, you look at it, Chet's questionable, up and down the lineup, Dort's questionable, SGA's questionable. The Thunder are 18-1-1 against the spread against a team off a spread win or a spread loss that was by less than 2 points. So either a spread win or a tight spread loss by less than 2 points. The Thunder come out there and they roll on them boys, 18-1-1. The Nuggets on the flip side, 1-17 if they're on the road in a pinch spot, if the line's between -5 and +5. Now, this number's moved beyond that. So, tricky little situation that's going to be null and void. And we just need to get further notice here when it comes down to it. So, let's move on. Let's go. We see DC Capper says, heading to the casino. Mike M. Briz, good luck, everyone. Cash those tickets, my friend. Get your cash, my guy. I hope you get that money tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow rocking with us. Let's roll here. We got a couple more NBA games that we're going to send you guys on to Dutch and Dabby to get that cash and all about the hoops. The Suns and the Nets game. Here's a spot that I'm involved with here. This line opened at 3.5. We're seeing 3.5s and now 4s. 58% of the bet, 63% of the cash on the Suns. It's moved to half a point. The back number's going up as well. 72% of the bets on the over, only 44% of the cash. It has moved 2.5, even 3 points now in some cases, Billy. And just for the safety or sake of time, when you've got road favorites facing the team they lost to the previous meeting and the line's shorter than the -3, they're 25-0-1. This is very much that revenge spot we talked about with hockey as well. When you're a favorite, now you're in a revenge spot, and you're a road favorite in those spots. You're 25-0-1. 3 teams originally qualified to that criteria today. The Orlando Magic were one of them. The last game there with the the New Orleans Pelicans, but now the Pelicans are a dog, so that's kind of null and void that spot. The Suns, though, still very much active in this revenge opportunity, Billy, and I'm on them. I got this best number I can get now is 3.5s on its way to 4s. Opened up the show, pre-show, it was a 3. What do you think about that spot?
I like the Suns here in this spot. This is going to be KD's first time going back into Brooklyn, and maybe a little bit of recency bias here. Everybody was betting the Jazz against the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets ended up smoking them. And it kind of felt like the same exact way in that Houston game, the game before that. So, I mean, everyone's kind of fading Brooklyn. But Brooklyn had a little bit of sense of energy in that last game. Ben Simmons came back from a long return. And say what you want about Ben Simmons, but he gave a dynamic, different look to that team that they haven't really been able to really see. And the offense looked a lot better. I mean, 147 points. That ain't nothing to shy about, regardless if they're playing defense or not. I mean, 150 points, that's damn near what fucking college basketball totals are at right now. Like, Ben Simmons looked really good out there. He's not out there tonight. He damn near triple-doubled. I don't think that they have the production to really replace it. Not a good spot for Claxton. He's kind of like the called down low that kind of gets the defensive going. I think Katie and the boys are going to be out here looking for some blood, man. I mean, obvious narrative reasons is the ABC game. Kevin Durant's probably fired up to play in this one. And I think a little bit of recency bias when it comes to player props, because the last time that they played on ABC, Kevin Durant was getting absolutely crucified on social media about scoring like only 8 points. His prop was at like 25.5. A lot of people had it in like parlays and stuff like that. I think he circles back around to the good old Brooklyn Nets tonight, and he has one. And if him and Booker and Beal are all having good games, more times than not, I would say about 80% of the time they're going to win.
Nice. I think this is definitely a bad spot for the Nets here. They got their win there against Utah. They were definitely the unexpected victory there. And I do know that, and I was talking with Razor about this. I couldn't figure it out yesterday when we were talking about this Utah game, but when you play that Brooklyn team and then you got the Knicks next, those are difficult spots to be involved with. So anyhow, Suns for me as well here. And shout out, I see our guy LJ's out there thanking you for filling in for him. He's at the Rockets game. LJ, hope you have a blast, my guy. Have a cocktail, maybe a smoke. Be safe, be sound, and get your cash, my guy. We'll see you next week, of course. Ramon Scott's out there. What up, Ramon? He says it sounds like Williams is going to be out the next couple of games is kind of what the report is on the street there. And Voodoo Rangers on that Porter. Oh, he was on Porter that day. Even got in before the joke news and still screwed me. Incredible to have major CLV and lose. Seems like it, doesn't it? And then we got a 1-0 score update in Detroit. That's how you know we're running here. We're running and gunning. We got the nice start in Detroit. Let's talk about this last game, Billy. We got the Bucks and the Blazers. And I got a specific question I want to ask you in regards to props here. This line opened at 10 and 10.5 rather, and it's sitting around 10. So it's still a little bit of movement against the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe the feeling is that's too many points. We've got 45% of the bets, 73% of the cash on the Blazers, the Fire Blazers out there, and the total's climbing as well. We got a point movement. Open at 236.5, now 237.5, 79% of the bets, 98% of the cash, thinking that we see scoring in this game. And, you know, my selfish question here is we got ourselves a little prop boost out there. The prop booster now on DK, Lillard 25 plus points and the Bucks to win boosted to plus 150 over there on DK. Is that a play or is that a stay?
I think it's a stay away, man. I'll give you a hot take of the day, man. Hot take of the day. Go get yourself some Portland and the points tonight, man. I mean, if there is ever a spot of spots tonight for Portland to look half decent and people to show up in the crowd, it's the return of Damian Lillard in Portland, man. I mean, they're going to be fired up for this one. I mean, it would be different if the team got fleeced, and like half of the team got fleeced, but the guys that are the guys, the Anthony Simons, the Malcolm Brogdon probably would have show off and say, yo, fuck you. I'm a better point guard than you. And Anthony Simons definitely, you know, just see your he was Damian Lillard's protege because I think he was the last high school player to get drafted. He came out of IMG Academy. He basically sat on like Portland's bench for like 2.5 years before he even like got minutes. So he was basically Damian Lillard's bitch for like 2 years before he got minutes. I think these boys are going to come out to play tonight, man. I like Malcolm Brogdon over 16.5 points. He's gone over 16 out of his last 22 games when playing at least 26 minutes. It's a great matchup. I always want to attack point guards versus the Milwaukee Bucks, who have been bad defensively and bad on the road, man. 11-10 record on the road. How the fuck are they laying double digits? 22nd in defensive ratings on the road. And Portland's been somewhat gritty at home, man, especially with their current lineup. It's not the Duop Reese and everybody else out there. This is actually Portland's healthiest version of the roster that we're going to see. And I think they come out and ball tonight, man. We'll be probably live on the streams tonight. And it's something to take in. But I ain't betting under on no Damian Lillard, so I guess I would have to lean towards the over. But, man, I really like the Blazers in this one tonight, and I can't believe those words came out of my mouth.
We got some time to watch the line and how it moves here later tonight as well, but I think I might get there with you on that Blazer spot. If I go official with it, I'll make sure to tweet it out to you guys. So follow me over there on X at PimpSlapPod. Billy, I appreciate you stepping in here. We're getting up to them, boys. All about the hoops with Dutch and Dabby over there. Pub Sports Radio. You know you guys are going to want to check it out. They're going to be live betting college basketball. The association, they're going to try to get you guys paid tonight. But Billy, before we shut them down, tell them what you got cooking. Again, I appreciate you dropping in. You know, short notice, Billy Briz coming through, delivering the goods, my guy. Appreciate that as always. What's happening with you?
UFC, I think it's 85 back tonight. A little bit of a damper to the Atlantic City card. Sean Brady ends up having to pull out. Says he needs a couple more months to recover from his injury, so we will not be seeing Sean Brady and Vicente Luque main event in Atlantic City in March. But this is why we go to Pupalooza. Pupalooza lit. Make sure you guys get those Pupalooza tickets ready. Poker on Friday. But slate tonight: St. Joe's -4.5, Memphis -15.5, Bradley -6.5. Sorry, we went a little bit chalky today, but I mean, at least we gave out a dog yesterday, and the Wyoming cashed out right as a dog. So we'll get more dog plays out there for you guys. But I think the first things first, gotta win first before you start going for value shots. And if you're placing a bet with the hopes that it's winning, it's probably not a good bet. Wise man told me the best bets that you're going to cash are the ones that you didn't want to make in the beginning of the day.
My guy, dropping a little wisdom on us to close the show out here. Guys, we appreciate everybody dropping in on the way out the door. Hit that thumbs up for us. Show the like, the support, the love. And if you're going to tail with us, make sure you let him know out there. Retweet us on X and let him know we're doing this thing on the regular. Director97 gives that $2 dono, says Radford -10 and the LA Kings money line. That's probably, the Kings is probably my favorite spot now that I have time to reflect on it. I know we talked about a birthday pick as well. And for me, this birthday pick that I'm going to rock with here tonight, I'm going to go to college. Let me see what we have here. What's coming up for college basketball, Billy? Any thoughts for you on a birthday pick?
Bradley, money line. Parlay it up.
Bradley, money line. I'll tell you my birthday pick. I'm going to go. It's something I haven't even talked about yet, but I will give it out there because I'm that confident in it here. I like UAB over North Texas. North Texas, they got themselves some spots out there. They just came off that overtime situation, double OT, I believe. UAB Blazers +6.5. We just talked about the Portland Blazers. Let's go with them UAB spots there at +6.5. That'll be one last official ad for the show card tonight. Billy, we got there. Director 97's gifting a membership out there, guys. Go get your hands on it. Our homie Director 97 blessing the close of the show and everybody's action out there. Director 97, you're the man, homie. We appreciate you dropping in, hanging out with us, spending the time, spending your cash, giving us them looks out there. JPZ says Bradley money line -365. Billy Eagle Flyer. Hey, he's parlaying.
It's a three-leg birthday pick. Parlay. Take the spread if you want to bet the points. I think they cover by the spread.
Appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight, guys. Hop on over there. See our boys, Dutch and Dabby, Kelly V, Voodoo Ranger, AOD in the house. Jonathan Manson out there said that Detroit team went up. Billy Eagle Flyer. Nasty Nate, my guy. LJ, I hope you have a great time tonight. Ramon Scott, Jacqueline in the house. It's great to see Jacqueline out there. DC Capper. The crew showed up tonight. Now it's time to go show out Steve Bailey, Mike OKC over Denver tonight. Seems like that would be the direction that we're leaning. We're just waiting on final news. Our guy, Steve Bailey, Ian Shaber, Mr. Mechanical. Appreciate everybody dropping in tonight, guys. Have yourselves a blessed evening. Get that cash and go see them boys, Dutch and Dabby, all about the hoops. Stay pumping, baby. Let's go.